guys, literally the greatest Deuce ever. Best Deuce you've ever seen in your life. It was shiny. Okay.
What are you talking about?
I'm telling you, James, this has got to be the greatest Deuce you've ever seen in your life. Like, just a minute ago, even. Like,
That's
very
disgusting.
fresh.
It's disgusting.
What?
Disgusting.
I really like the soft tails, man. That was a great Deuce, man.
You're talking about the motorcycle? I thought you... Never mind.
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
I was just telling them how great our 2004 CVO Deuce is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's shiny. Every piece of it's shiny. The whole thing end to end is just beautiful and shiny. And that's rare that you find one that's shiny and old. And
it's nice.
so nice.
You want to see it?
Think I was talking
I have nothing. Doesn't matter. Do you guys want to see the Deuce?
You definitely want to see the Deuce.
Fantastic.
So good. So guys, this is, well, James can tell you, this is the best Deuce we've ever seen.
It's spectacular. This is a 2004 CVO Deuce, and it's immaculate, isn't it? I mean, you could roll this up to a show and people were like, wow, that's fantastic. The chrome is shiny. The paint is shinier.
It's just pristine.
It is pristine. It's absolutely beautiful. So we're gonna have a walk around. Jake's gonna tell you about this thing, and we're gonna ride it. Pretty excited. This is a pretty unique motorcycle. So it was a good day.
It's
so good.
Best Deuce ever.
Why not hit the subscribe button? Deuce baby.
So guys, like many of you already know, the CVOs, my favorite part of course, was a big motor for the time. You pretty much got it, and it was factory with a stage 4, same way they are now. But they had other cool features, man. You know, obviously a Deuce was its own thing, but a CVO took it to that next level because back then, especially, there was so much more attention to the minor details. Your fender struts were painted the color that the bike was going to be. Your frame, swing arm, all that was also the right color. But they did little strange things you didn't think of. They had their own breather, right? You turn around, everything was chromed out. You had this raw, unfinished look on the motor that we love so much. They came with their own style of wheels, normally exclusive to a CVO. This particular bike's been fitted with a 2-into-1, just to wake it up, give it a touch more power. And it really didn't have to have that, but it sure is nice. We love more power. Obviously some Chubby's bars on there, pretty great. Everything else, guys, this thing's pretty much stock. They really didn't go crazy changing things and altering things too much so that it was distasteful. You can still look at this from way across the parking lot at bike night and know this is a CVO Deuce. And if you know a whole lot about them, you know it's a 2004 because of the paint set. Little details all across it, polished lowers, axle nut covers, the raw finish on the Kelsey Hayes calipers. Everything about this motorcycle was one for the CVO. It was specific to it. And this one here, to be as clean as it is and good a shape as it is, I think it's pretty exceptional to ever find one this mint condition like this. I'm really excited to ride it.
You ready, man? Yep. Cool. All right, so I am on the 2004 CVO Deuce, and let me just sort out my mirrors so I can see what's going on. All right, it is another gorgeous day, as you can see. Perfect day to go for a ride with your mate. So we're heading off. Now, this is the first time I've ridden a Deuce. I haven't been on one before, so it's something exciting for me. It sounds fantastic. The 2-in-1 is just sounds great. Yeah, hopefully you can hear it because we got a new microphone set up on my helmet. So hopefully it's going to be a little bit quieter, so there won't be as much wind noise. But I hope you can still hear this engine because it is magnificent. It sounds absolutely fantastic. You're pretty stretched out on this. Your legs are pretty far in front of you and your arms are up in the air. Definitely got that fist in the winds pose, which is familiar with a lot of people that ride Harleys. It handles all right though, actually. Going around the corner is not bad. A little more stretched out than I would like to be, but it goes. I mean, it's got power. It's not, by sort of today's standards, it's not a rocket ship by any means, but it'll go. Oh, we're on the bridge. Comfort on the bridge. Yeah, it's okay. I don't love it. The seat's not terrible, but just the rider triangle that's created from it. You got very stretched out legs, very stretched out arms. Not my cup of tea. But if you're into that, this might be the way to go. You do feel quite cool on this motorcycle, though. You know, and we've talked before about how, you know, a lot of motorcycling is just that you feel great riding a bike, and this one definitely has that feel. It kind of gives you that easy rider sort of feeling, you know, heading down the road. It is a lot of fun. A lot of chrome. It's really bright. You can probably see the sun reflecting on it. That's why I'm not a huge fan of chrome myself. I think it looks great on the engine compartment, but up top I prefer to kind of keep it less chromy because of the blinding effects of the sun. Well, there's not much you can do about that. So we don't get many of these CVOs in the Deuce. That's why we thought we'd take this one out for a ride today. They're not, you know, they're fairly, they're not rare motorcycles, but they certainly are less, they're less common than a street glide or a road glide per se. So we got it. We thought we would take it out for a spin. One of the things it is showing me though is how much Harley-Davidson as a company has evolved over the last decade or so. Just how much better their motorcycles have got. You know, it does. It goes around the corners pretty well, actually. But it just, oh god, it just doesn't go. Yeah, when you open it up, it just doesn't have, you know, it doesn't have that 107 or that 114. It just doesn't have the torque there. It's not got the speed of it, which again goes into what I was saying earlier about it just shows how much Harley-Davidson has evolved as a company over the last decade or so. And I know some people are always Jake right there. Which his FXR looks quite good, doesn't it? That's a cool motorcycle. Yeah, that is a cool motorcycle. But yeah, he loves the twin cams. But I think the Milwaukee 8 for me is sort of an evolution of that, and it's just, in my book, it's a better engine. I just like it better. It's more refined. It's smoother. It's more powerful. I just like it. I think it's evolution, which I think companies have to do, don't they? You can't, if you stay stagnant, you die. You have to evolve, and that's what Harley-Davidson has done. And I think this is a perfect example, because a CVO is the pinnacle of design, isn't it? It's a pinnacle of engineering at the time. And so I think when you compare this to another Softail, say, I don't know, a Fat Boy or a Slim of 2020 vintage, the comparison, it gets a lot more, you know, which is the more modern motorcycle, which is the more powerful motorcycle, which is the more refined motorcycle. And you know, I'm into refinement. I think that's a good way to go. It's, yeah, just the way cars are. You know, you wouldn't want a car that, although cars from the 1960s look fantastic, they're not brilliant to ride every day because they don't have all the creature comforts that you enjoy. But anyway, enough of that, enough of that tirade. Cornering though is fine. You know, you have that very skinny wheel up front, which sort of does help you go around the corners a little bit. But it might be my imagination here, but it almost feels like there's a little bit of a wobble front to back on this motorcycle. It's minimal, and it doesn't really affect how you ride, but it is, I feel like it's there. But you get on this, and it's, what, 15 years old now, this motorcycle, and it's in amazing shape, first off. For 15 years, it looks like it just came out of the showroom. It's that clean. It only has 26,000 miles on, so it's not a massively high mileage a motorcycle, but I think it shows how much the motor company has come in a relatively short period of time. And there are detractors to that. Some people wish they would build motorcycles like they used to back in the olden days, but I'm absolutely fine with them building new and modern motorcycles. I'm good with that. So new construction corner, get to see how this does on the one twisty that we have. Fine. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, of course it's, it goes around no problem at all. And you know, in a lot of ways it doesn't, you know, of course it matters how the motorcycle rides, but when something looks this great, that, you know, that sort of, this is aesthetically, it's fantastic looking. It's going to turn heads. People are going to want to stop. They're going to want to look at it. They're going to want to, get on it, have a look at it, see where it goes. Look at him. No signals on his FXR, so he just sticks his hand out. I thought he was doing that earlier. I wondered what he was doing. I thought he was just going, hey, but no, he is actually, that's how he turns on that machine. There's just nothing legal about that motorcycle. But the Deuce, it was fun. I mean, it's a really great motorcycle. It looks fantastic. It's unique. There's not a lot of them on the road. If you're looking for something that is very unique, this is it. If you're looking for something with a little more refinement, you might want to go up a few years. But yeah, not bad at all. So now I get to ride on the FXR, and last time I rode on this, it was a death trap, and it was smoking a little bit earlier. So, and I don't know what he's doing now. Look at this. No license plate, nothing, no signals. Just sounds good though. Oh, hello. How are you? Let's do the mirrors. You know what? They don't make any difference. You can't see anything. All I can see is my chest. And they just fall down. The mirrors they just wobble wherever they want to. It's fantastic. Oh, I'll tell you what, he's done some work on this bike because, yeah, that was actually quite smooth, taken off. I mean, as smooth as one of these can be. But look at that. Oh, red light. You all know how much I love red lights. It's got nothing to do with them. I sit here. It sounds good. Yeah, okay. The Deuce sounds so damn good. That 2-in-1 is absolutely lovely. I'm holding on to the gear here because I'm nervous because I couldn't get this bike in neutral last time, and about 10 minutes after that the clutch broke. So I'm going to be very gingerly with the gears on this. Oh, it's not bad. Ah, he has. He's fixed the gears too. I can actually shift on this now. Because before you had to sort of lift your whole foot off the peg to shift a gear because the shifter was so high and it was so awkward. But now, you almost ride it like a modern motorcycle. You just sort of kick your foot up a little bit. Fantastic. That Deuce does look really good though, doesn't it? That paint on it is fantastic. It's hard to believe that's a 15-year-old motorcycle because it looks it looks brand new, doesn't it? Absolutely brilliant. So I guess my final thoughts before, we'll knock it up on top with Jake and I, but my final thoughts on the Deuce are it's a very stunningly good-looking motorcycle. I think there are probably better choices for a good riding motorcycle. Anyway, so now let's talk about Jake's FXR. No, just kidding, we're not going to talk about the FXR. We could talk about the FXR. It's fantastic, I love it. It's got so much soul. It corners so nicely. This corner's better than the Deuce I just got off, I can tell you that right now. Absolutely. It's brilliant. I mean, it makes you a little bit nervous because there's no headlight, there's no turn signals, there's no brake lights, there's no license plate. Apart from that, it's fantastic. I can see up ahead there, Jake doesn't get down as low on that Deuce as he does on most other motorcycles, and I think that is A, because he's not used to it, but B, it's just, the refinement level's not there that it is today. It's just, it's the way it goes, isn't it? So I suppose what have we learned on this ride? That Harley-Davidson builds better motorcycles now than it used to. I mean, that's a pretty blanket statement, and it's probably not true, but I think certainly the newer technology comes through. But the way they sound, you cannot beat the sound of that. It is so good. I think that's a Vance & Hines 2-in-1, and it just is, it's beautiful. As far as just a cruising down the road motorcycle, the Deuce it's one of a kind. It makes you feel cool, but I don't think you'd want to be cool for too long, if you know what I mean. That's how it goes, I suppose. So we'll head back in the dealership, we'll go up on top, we'll give you our final thoughts on the Deuce. And it's cool. I mean, I think if you're looking for one, if you're in the area, you're not going to find a nicer example. That is for sure. Alright, so this is the tricky part now. Neutral. Is it Oh my god. I did it! I got neutral. He's not impressed. We'll see. Alright, Jake, final thoughts on the CVO Deuce.
I'm gonna let you go first on the Deuce.
Yeah, okay. Alright. Looks wise, it's pretty spectacular. It's just a really nice looking motorcycle. It looks vintage, even though it's not that vintage. 2004, not that long ago really. It looks older than that, which is cool. And the fact that it's in such good condition really says a lot for this motorcycle. Honestly, probably not my favorite motorcycle I've ever ridden. It's not massively comfortable, which could suggest why they're not around anymore. But if you're looking for something that is unique, there's not a lot of them on the road, this is a way to go. You know, it's got plenty of power, it sounds wicked.
Oh my god, it sounds so good.
That 2-in-1 is superb. You know, the handlebars are nice, but it's just something about the triangle when you're sitting on it. I just felt a little, my legs felt a little too stretched out. It just wasn't, it wasn't loving it. You know, I missed a couple of gears there because my foot just wasn't, I just forgot to hit the shifter. It happens. What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. As you guys saw the fixtures back, and I've been riding it.
2 seconds though, because the last time we rode the Fixer, we said it was a death trap, and I was on it, and I felt like I was gonna die. Today, this man's done magic. He's done magic with that bike. It is really fun now. It is a motorcycling in its purest form.
Shout out to Mad Cycles for walking me through that. Love you guys.
But if a motorcycle has a soul, that one definitely has a big soul.
It does.
It does. It's beautiful.
Also,
anyway, back to the
I was gonna say
Deuce.
the task at hand with the Deuce.
The Deuce.
So the point of that is I've been riding that bike a lot, and you guys know I ride a lot of different bikes often. But getting off of that onto this does show some of the things Harley-Davidson did throughout the years, because we ride 2020s all the time.
Yeah.
You guys have seen my bike. James, you've seen his bike. One thing about it, Harley is continually growing and making changes to make a motorcycle a better experience. Obviously, I think, in my personal, humble, and correct opinion, the Evo is so timeless and unstoppable. But the twin cam, you guys know I love a twin cam, and this particular one makes a lot of power. It's a lot of grunt, mean sound. It's awesome. It's got some cams in it that sound good. The 2-in-1 sounds good. As far as a consistent motorcycling experience, this bike brings a lot to the table. It really doesn't leave a lot to be desired as far as the CVO experience. And I think that even in 2020, you know, all they make in CVOs is baggers.
Yep.
And I think that things like this remind us of how good that used to be on the other things. And
Yeah.
I'd actually kind of like to see Harley maybe get a little closer to that
I would love it.
sometime soon.
Yeah, Harley, if you're listening, we would love a Softail CVO.
We really would.
Oh, it would be so good,
fantastic.
so good. But we don't have one, so the closest you can get is
This CVO Softail Deuce.
the Deuce. And on that, we'll see you later.
next time.
Deuces.
Deuces.
You like that?
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, boys. Talk loud, remember?
That was the greatest Deuce ever, man. Oh.
Stop, hold on. I cannot.
Whenever you guys are ready.
What? That's how you gotta be. You gotta be like, why are we even having this conversation?
Why are we having this conversation? What?
Like when I talk about the greatest Deuce ever, you're like,
Yes, that
I
one
didn't
right
need
there.
to know. No, you get it. Your part is like I'm taking a massive dump and I'm telling you how great it was, and you're just like, why did I want to know that? I didn't even need to know that. You see what I'm saying?
I can't do this.
You can.
No, I can't.
Nate.
I don't know what to say. Bro, I'm like, he's talking to me and I'm like,
You're a little bit grossed out.
it's like, it's a beautiful Deuce. Yes, it is a beautiful Deuce. Very beautiful, very shiny. But I don't know what to say.
Do that. Do that.